What is up? Welcome to the Q&A episode. I am the Savage Xavier Turbos, joined by Brandon, and I am Brandon. I'm joined by the Pretenders, and I'm just going to let it roll because we're very loose, we're easygoing in this Q&A podcast. How are you, Grant?
I'm very well, thank you, mate.
It's been
very
a long
well.
time since I've podcasted with you.
Yeah, no, it's it's like riding a bike though. Once you're straight back in the saddle, mate, I'm all good.
Nah, that's good. Let's start off with Trent Rapatini. This is in the Patreon section of things. Who's your biggest regret trade this year, and who's your biggest non-regret in trading in? Biggest regret in not trading in, the one that got away.
The biggest.
It's a good question.
Yeah, it is. Look, if I really wanted to give a proper answer, I'd probably have to. I haven't gone through that and looked at all my trades this year, but I would have liked at some point to have gotten off of Tino a little bit earlier in the piece. I think he's a bit busted at the minute. That's been one probably holding on a bit long. One trade, maybe more of an interesting thing. I did bring in Jaden Sullivan at one point this year, where not many people I don't think did, and it allowed me to do some of the best moves I've done all year. So I would actually looking back on it, he didn't make much money. He didn't really score me many points, but his ability as an enabler.
He still held enough value for you to move to whoever you wanted to move to at that point.
Well, I was able to go down to liking King Tonga about 3 or 4 weeks later, but in that period before King Tonga appeared, no one else could really downgrade it at 5/8. I was able to, and I think at that point, I think I got Herbie and Lehigh in the same, roughly in that period, and that's obviously, Lehigh injured himself, but he went 100 for me before he did that. So yeah that was I'll try and prep an answer for next time I'm on the potty and give or post it in the chat for him to read. I think there'd be some, and I definitely at the end of the season will give a really good detailed analysis on that.
Yeah, just off the top of the head, there's a couple. Fullbacks started with Walsh, who didn't overly kill it. Wish I started with the likes of, Pappenhausen was one. Even Yongi, would have allowed me to go so much else. Would have allowed me to start with Tino, who I got in week 3 anyway. And I was so off Tino in the preseason, but I knew I was planning on getting him eventually if he hit a certain point. Tommy in and out for certain points of the period, certain points in time. I remember the week I captained him for the 24 against Para. I was so excited. And then I just had a gut feeling right before the game, no, I can't captain this guy. But I was just, the matchup was way too scary. So I think Tommy's definitely been one. One not trading in, probably Pappenhausen was one that I regret not trading in early enough. I think I was too stubborn with not trading him in before that 182. I saw signs. He was goal kicking. I was just a bit stubborn just on how he's performed in the past. I just didn't think he could get back to where he is because he's put on sides. He's going to be a different fullback. It was what my thought process. And I still stand by that a little bit. I think he's not quite the fullback he is in pace, but at the same time, he's absolutely played as good as I've seen him since the injuries.
Yeah, that's a fair one to have missed. I think he's had a hell of a season, 330 plus scores already, and probably more to come, I'd say.
Hope not. Damon Askey, would you trade Billy Smith or Ramian to Marky Mark? Already have 15 players this week. Whoever I don't trade will be 6th or 7th and unlikely be in my 17 each week.
Well, this isn't far off your sort of pickle of the week. So
no,
maybe
it's not. It's nothing near it, to be honest. He has 15 players already, so he's got
True.
a bit of security there.
Yep.
I have 13 on the dot, so I like to just have that extra play in security at least. He's got 15 players already. He's trying to get him Mark. I get the matchup is good this week, but I think personally, if you're going to do that, you go Tupou instead.
Yeah.
I guess the thing is Mark's going to be on your bench for the rest of the year, so you're kind of happy to play him more than Tupou
definitely.
for later in the season.
Absolutely.
So I get it to that extent, but I'm just Mark doesn't appeal to me to hold on your bench for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's completely understandable. I looking at this, just in a bit of a vacuum, I think Billy Smith could score as many as Mark this week anyway, because he's against Toa on that left side. It's statistically not that likely, but he could. But in saying that, I would much rather have Ramian for the rest of the season. I would
Mark,
than Billy Smith.
Yes,
much rather. So if your question is, who would I trade this week? It would, and I was taking into account that I had to have Marky Mark. This, maybe Damon actually sees him as an absolute must. I would probably sell Billy Smith reluctantly.
I agree with that. Yep. We get into some funny questions now because that's it for like Supercoach related.
Yeah, Matthew, guys, get some questions in. Like,
I know.
You got to have some questions. I know. Well, maybe people asked earlier in the week and stuff like that.
There's a lot of questions in the chat through the week, so maybe we can get to them. But Matthew Gibson, what's the weirdest dream you've had?
Oh God,
I can't remember, to be honest. I remember a dream, 2019, and I had a dream that Cameron Murray. Do you remember The Simpsons, where Mr. Burns flies into Waylon Smithers' room in his dream?
Yeah, I actually do. Weirdly enough, yeah.
Yeah, and I had a dream that was Cameron Murray.
For you?
Yeah, and he was telling me to captain him in Supercoach that week. So I did it, and he scored 129.
No way.
Damien Cook was the most popular option that week. He scored 131.
Oh, right.
It was not the play, but it was also good enough.
That is pretty cool.
So it was just like, I just remember that. But it wasn't weird. It was like, it didn't feel weird.
I mean, it's kind of weird, but it's pretty impressive. No, look, I don't really dream too much, but
it's not bad.
I don't know if it's. Look, I'm not. I believe that it's fine. So I just follow that. That's my principle. No, look, I've just got it. I'm one of those people who has the relentless, those dreams where you need to be somewhere in the dream at a certain time and you just can't get there for whatever reason. Like you can't force yourself to do it, or you're talking to people and all of a sudden heaps of time passes, stuff like that. Like it always weirds me out a bit because I'm usually pretty good with time and
you try and run away from something and you just
can't get, just like all that sort of, but I don't dream. Like I'm not really a big dreamer, so unfortunately not a great answer, but that's all I got for you.
I've had a few dreams like over the last few months, and like not recently or anything, but like every time I dream, I'm like, man, I've had a deep sleep. That's good. I always feel great in the morning after I've done that. Blake89, I love his question. What would your top 3 sporting events around the world you would want to attend?
Well, the Boxing Day test I've been to it, but that's right up there.
We're cricket guys, and I think that's near the top for me. Boxing Day test would actually be number 3 for me.
Okay, that's fair.
Number 2 for me would be State of Origin decider.
You mean like
at
next Wednesday?
Suncorp?
Oh, at Suncorp.
Or Grand Final. Number 1 is Magic Round for me. Like for me, there's no other sporting event in the world that interests me. I would love to go to Lords one day to watch cricket.
That's fair.
I would love to go watch Wimbledon. I've done the Australian Open and done like the tour. Got to watch Roger Federer play. That was amazing. It was actually the day Kobe Bryant died. I remember vividly.
Was that like a day after Australia Day or around Australia Day? It was, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it must. Yeah. I think it might have been the day after.
Yeah, I remember I woke up after a pretty big night, and it was just everywhere. Couldn't scroll like everyone. I didn't realize there were so many Kobe Bryant fans in Australia.
Yeah, I know. I remember I was in the car because my dad was driving. I was like, "Oh, Kobe Bryant died," and I didn't know he'd know who he was, and he's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just seeing things. And then I scrolled down, another article. I
remember that. I was out the night Shane Warne died, and me and a couple of mates were like in tears. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Were you out when that happened?
Yeah.
I woke up to that.
Yeah, because it was late, right? It was after midnight I was just, again, scrolling and just went, wait, no way, this is real. Same thing. And then just like, it just started appearing through the whole thing.
I woke up to a message from my brother saying Shane Warne died.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
like
That was
waking up to that
heartbreaking.
was
Yeah.
awful. And then Andrew Simons, a couple.
Yeah. Same as well.
Do you feel like when that happened, it was just like still getting over Shane Warne at that time?
Yeah, definitely. I think. But even like, and it's the same thing. There's been stuff happen at times like that in rugby league where multiple people seem to, like really important people to the game seem to go at the same time, and then thankfully nothing for a stretch of time. So maybe it's just obviously coincidence, but yeah, it's pretty sad, pretty hard to break. But back to the question.
Do you remember where you were when Liam Payne died?
No.
So you obviously wasn't that important to you.
No.
Man, that one hit me.
That hit you hard? Yeah, I thought it would.
I'm big One Direction.
Yeah,
Justin
I knew you
Bieber
were.
fan.
No, I don't remember. I remember like finding out about it, but I reckon I was at home or something. Like, I don't think I was anywhere important. That's why.
I was rattled by that, but the biggest one I've been rattled by, Phil Hughes.
Oh yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah.
I know exactly where I was when that happened. Yeah,
I remember I was for multiple like updates on that too.
Yeah. No, I was on my way to. I used to do cricket coaching, like batting coaching for kids.
Yeah.
And I was on my way from uni. I was on my way to that, and sort of heard it all. And because the guys that I coach with were quite in with the New South Wales team and stuff like that, they were getting like some additional updates, and it was all it was pretty chaotic. His poor family, man.
Yeah,
really sad. But yeah, my other options, I would say, Magic Round would be right up there.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to a FIFA the World Cup final. I think that would be unreal, especially in like certain countries would be excellent. Love to do it like in Brazil or something like that. Something where it's just like pure love for the game. Game 7 of an NBA finals would be pretty cool. I think that'd probably be mine. And Ash just like the same things as you with cricket, but I think those would be that's my sort of 5 or 6 things that'd be really good.
Is there any others we've missed, like Australia? I feel like
the Olympics is pretty cool, but it's kind of hard because the Olympics is less about one specific event and more like a drawn out process, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm not missing anything. Like rugby league and cricket is my bread and butter, so like they're the top ones I want to go
That's
to.
fair.
But atmosphere-wise, I'm sure there's heaps more, like especially soccer fans and stuff. Do have one here. Do you think Lehigh and Tommy should swap? Do you think Lehigh should play fullback and Tommy should stay in the centres?
Permanently?
Yes.
I would actually, if Tommy was coming into the front line permanently, I'd move Luke Brooks. I played Tommy at 6.
I actually agree. I think Tommy needs his hands on the ball. He's one of the best ball-playing fullbacks in the competition. I think Lehigh's still a bit raw, and I think you get his best attributes when he's still on the wing. So I'd move him to the wing, move Tommy to fullback. I think that's their best setup at the moment. I think Lehigh just lacks a bit of class at the moment. His timing is a little bit off, and I think the style of what Manly play, it's just sweep along the back line. The fullback is the one that ices that last pass.
And they need playmaking in their style.
Yes, he's just slightly off with that. He's not far
No,
away,
it's
and
fair.
I had a lot of people say, it's his second year, he'll get it. Yeah, he will get it. But I think just for now.
Yeah, if you want to win now, I agree with it. Look, I agree with that. That's.
But I also think Tommy is the future as well. Like if he's got another
just got to stay on the park. That's his problem, right? Like how many times can you bet on something before it becomes reality? You know, like how many times can we say, well, all he's got to do is stay healthy, and he turns back the clock, and because he would if he. But how many times? Like he hasn't played 20 games in a season for forever. I just had a look, which makes me feel a little bit old. Lehigh Hopewade was born in January 2005. He's literally 20 years old. So
I was literally thinking, what year could he say that's going to shock me the most? And 2005.
Anytime I must be that's how you're getting old, because anytime I hear a player born after 2000 is ridiculous. And now in some of the sports around the world and stuff, there's already people who are making their professional debut born in 2010. And it's just like,
are you serious?
Yeah, like 15, 16. Like, I mean, some sports that's like, it's not uncommon for swimmers and, things like that. I'm already hearing, this person born in 2010 is, and I'm like, sorry, what?
2010?
2010. How ridiculous is that? Don't you feel old?
Yeah.
You were we were both nearly out of high school.
We were learning some things in 2010.
We sure were.
All right. I want to show you this video, and I just want to get your thoughts on it. As a Dragons fan,
Yeah.
I want your thoughts on this video and your thoughts on this guy in particular.
Yeah. Made him cry. JDB's been one of my favourite players for a very long time. It breaks my heart a bit to see him go as well, because I still think he's got a little bit of footy in him. Probably at least one more good season. But we just got so many good kids, and at some point the problem is he's actually too good for his own good. Like, he's good enough to keep people off the park, and I think that with the amount of young talent we've got in our forwards, we've got to give him a chance. But yeah, that's breaks my heart.
Firstly, I love JC in the video, but asking for a photo in
Yeah,
that
that
time
was
when he's about to cry.
Horrible timing.
Oh my God, read the room,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, horrible timing. Like, he should have just like had his moment with him. Like, you didn't need a photo then, man. Like, but that was
seriously,
cool.
like JC, I don't know if you've seen him on
seen
TikTok
him.
and stuff. I don't know. I don't know my thoughts. I feel bad for both parties. I think both parties are within their rights to feel how they want to, how they're feeling.
Yeah, look, I really like I really like JDB. I really like JC's stuff that he puts out there. You know, the bigger travesty for me this week is what Kyle Flanagan's been put through over the last few weeks, because to me it doesn't seem to matter if we win. We won 2 games 4 weeks ago. No one said boo. We lose 2 games, it's the halves' fault. We win a game this week, and the only media that comes out about it is Kyle Flanagan nearly cost the Dragons the game. I mean, what do you want from him? Like, seriously, man.
Yeah, I reckon he's been pretty harshly criticised his whole career, to be honest.
Probably. Look, there's a lot that is fair. Do I think that he's going to be the guy that takes the Dragons to a premiership? No, I don't really, to be quite honest with you. And it's not because I don't think he's... Like, I think he would need to be our, in the bottom 4 or 5 players in a team for them to win a competition, because they'd need that level of talent above him. But I also don't, nothing against Lachlan Ilias, but he's not taking us any further. And at least Flanagan defends well.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm hating.
I've got some more gripes about the Dragons, but I won't do it in the Q&A potty. I'll share it with everyone in the WhatsApp group though. If you want to ask me any questions, I'm happy to absolutely unload.
All right, it's been a fun Q&A, but we got to head off. It's raining outside, so we got to get home. So thank you for tuning in for the Q&A. Thank you for the questions. Come on, bring some more next week.
Yeah, please, guys.
We'll see you next week.
See you.